It's time to pick a side. The border war is on the air with BG and 10. Welcome into the second half of the border war for March the 7th. I saw a picture of Kevin Love on the screen. I froze up. I almost couldn't continue doing the show. I felt tight in my chest. Perhaps I shouldn't make light of panic attacks, but here I am doing.
You ever had one?
Just that. Well, I got jumped by three guys outside a mall one time, and they beat me up really bad. I felt sort of panicky then, but why is that funny? Why is that funny?
It just felt
I thought you were
It just felt right.
I thought you were an agent of law and order.
It just felt right.
Oh, well, it didn't feel right to me. It felt terrible. My feelings. I'm not even sure I can continue doing the show now, man. I thought we were.
What do you mean you can't do the show anymore? How will the people know what our opinions are on all things the world of sport?
All right, so we're going to start with the Washington Redskins.
I know. I'm not that thrilled about it either.
I think it's. Was this ever actually a story? Like, you wonder where these sources are that said they were thinking about tagging Kirk Cousins. I mean, like, so they could trade him and get even more value, right? Like, if you got stuck with that salary, what would he have been making? 140% above the top five players?
Yeah,
now, correct me if I'm wrong.
The divorce is finally final. We can all move on. It is the Kirk Cousins era in Washington, D.C. is over.
And I mean, I'm going to just say this. I went back and forth. There were a couple times this season. One thing that's always annoyed me about sports talk guys is they never go back and remind you of the stupid crap they said. They always act like they didn't say it. Now, I said it. I went back and forth about Kirk Cousins. And at times I thought we need to try to keep this guy. And at times I thought, we don't need... Well, when I say we needed to get rid of him, I meant at the salary he was going to command. Okay? That all being said, I'm going to just say now, in retrospect, I just never liked him that much. He always seemed, what's the word? Kind of beta-ish. Like, he was never that guy that was just going to, like, grab the center by the face mask and be like, block for me or you're off this team. Get lined up. We're going to go down and score.
Alex Smith is going to do that?
No. But, I mean, the thing is, Alex Smith isn't going to have that weird little smile. I mean, I think I'll be okay with that. Mm-hmm. The thing about Alex Smith is you know what you've got. Cousins, it was always, what could he do? What could he do later?
That's you guys. That's you guys putting that. That's Redskins fans putting that out there. That, to me, from an outsider looking in at the Redskins, I felt like you knew exactly who Kirk Cousins was. He wasn't going to surprise you in any way. I think every Sunday you're going to get the same thing.
Red zone turnovers.
You said it. Between the 20s, it's going to look great. I think the story of the whole Kirk Cousins era in Washington, is going to be safely told by the fact that you guys bungled this whole thing to a level that has been seen few times, other than the Bengals trying to trade, or the Browns trying to trade for A.J. McCarron.
You're really enjoying this, aren't you?
Yeah, other than the Browns trading for A.J. McCarron and being so happy and excited that they finally got a quarterback that they didn't send the papers in. Other than that, the way you guys have mismanaged the Kirk Cousins situation for the last 2 years has been one of the worst jobs in football, man.
Let me give you... Go ahead.
You signed this guy... You don't want to pay Kirk Cousins. You don't feel comfortable.
I'm going to watch this show when you're done talking.
To me.
I don't want
to $30 million a year. You don't want Kirk Cousins at $30 million a year, right?
Right.
All right. If you had just signed him 2 years ago at $19 million a year, how happy are you with that now, given what you're seeing other quarterback salaries get to? If you'd have locked him in for 4 or 5 years at $19 million a year.
I get what you're saying, and I'm not trying to shoot you bull, but what I'm saying is he still wouldn't be any better at being a quarterback. I mean,
nobody looks a lot better at 19 than he does 30.
He's still throwing red zone interceptions.
Yeah, he looks a lot better at 19. Now, I'm with you.
You're either playing for the trophy or you're not playing.
I agree with the premise of wanting to have seen seen more. You weren't sold on it, but you should have paid. You should have. You should have done the deal last year, franchised him again in hindsight, and you could have got him at 22 or 23. But instead, he's going to command 30. You got a stopgap in Alex Smith, and you're going to be back on the quarterback. You're going to be back on the quarterback carousel again in 3 years,
Well, sure. Don't be surprised though if the Redskins continue to look into the free agent market for quarterbacks. I don't know.
On top of Alex Smith, or
no? Well, during Alex Smith. I mean, not this year, because I don't think there's anybody out there that justifies that kind of thing. But I've got a theory here in a second.
All right.
But the one thing I was going to say is, now going into this offseason, and I've told you this, I think even though Scott McCloughan was released before the draft last year, that the draft was still his. I think he had done all the legwork. I'm not even sure that hasn't really even basically been reported. That Bruce Allen stuck to, the 7 players or whatnot that McCloughan had, or the board that he had drawn up. All right. That's not going to be the case this year. This could be a colossally bad draft for the Redskins. I'm not going to be surprised to see things happen that you and I as casual football fans cannot explain on this show. And that is just all of the wonderful experience, part of being a Redskins fan. Mm-hmm. Now, that being said, you guys have your own levels of dysfunction. We'll get into that in a minute. But here's my theory about Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins, there's this famous well, it's not famous. You ever watch The Cosby Show growing up?
On occasion.
Okay, I'm not going to get into Bill Cosby's issues right now. I mean,
he's got some issues.
Yeah, well, he's, but there's an episode where one of his daughters brings home a dude to meet him, and I can't remember exactly the context of it, but basically they find out that, they've been sneaking around behind their back dating for like a year and nobody knew it. And he makes the example. He goes, "What's my favorite meal? Steak. I love a steak. I love a baked potato. Perfect meal. You bring it to me on the lid of a trash can, I'm not eating it." Mm-hmm. And I think that Cousins was tainted from the day he was drafted, because I think there was a little bit of a civil war in that front office, thinking Robert Griffin III is not going to end up being our quarterback. This guy, it was not worth what we traded for. I'm going to go in here in the 4th round. I'm going to grab that dude. I'm going to set him up against Griffin. And from the beginning, Cousins was never brought into Washington to be anything other than a stopgap. I mean, he was fated to be that almost.
I don't think he was brought in there as a stopgap or thought he was going to be a stopgap. I think if he had played well, people would have been perfectly happy to have Kirk Cousins be their quarterback for the next 8 years. I think.
Don't you feel like there was something going on,
though? I think you're on to something when you say half the front office wanted Robert Griffin, the other half the front office wanted Cousins.
Well, no, I don't think it's that they wanted Cousins, but they didn't want
Griffin.
Griffin.
They did was same thing. They didn't want Griffin. They were torn on that, and so Cousins was brought in as kind of a fallback or a safety net. I do think you're on to something that where he may not have always had the full support of everybody in the office.
No question. No question.
Well,
and that all flavored everything that happened.
Now it's officially over. Just on a side note, as a Redskins fan, how happy are you that this is finally over? We can stop talking. Kirk Cousins is going to go to Minnesota or Arizona, wherever. Now he's not your problem. There's not this, maybe we're going to do something stupid here, like tagging him and tying up $30 million of cap space.
The thing I can compare it to is South Carolina's football program right now. The last few years Spurrier was there, he has these crazy press conferences where he says the enemy is everywhere and he's not recruiting anybody. And when it was over, after Muschamp's first year, I just thought, my God, I'm just glad to have adults on our football staff. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping that's how it's going to feel. That Alex Smith just gives the most boring press conferences and that we win 10 games and I'm okay with that for right now. I just want to breathe, you know? So does that make sense?
You're all right with just being,
That's all we're going to be. That's all we're going to be until...
True story.
I mean, no. I mean, it is. And
true story. You're just that team.
Yeah, I think that's all you're going to be. Yeah, Dak had one good year, man. We have seen that story before.
Yeah, but you're
y'all do have better turf than us. He probably won't tear his ACL.
I know we have better
dropping
turf.
Back for a quarter. I mean, a pass. But
you're judging Dak on a season in which there was an untold number of.
We're doing the excuses thing now.
That's not an excuse thing.
You're judging the Redskins franchise on a year when they had more injuries.
I'm judging the Redskins franchise on 2 decades plus of mediocrity.
Okay, let's change that sentence. I'm judging the Cowboys franchise on 2 decades plus of mediocrity.
No. You're wrong.
You're wrong.
You
mentioned stupid argument, man. The Cowboys have done nothing.
To have adults in the room. Speaking of the adults, let's talk some Dallas Cowboys for a change.
No one has ever said
let's
that.
Let's talk the Cowboys and adults for a change. You guys made a smart move by not tagging Kirk Cousins. The Cowboys, in my opinion, made the smart move in tagging DeMarcus Lawrence.
They need to go ahead and get the deal done, though.
I think they will.
And they will. He sounds like he's amenable. He's saying he's not upset by it. I think defensive end is one of the places where this sort of starts to make sense. The thing about a defensive end is you know what you've got at the combine, don't you? I mean, defensive end is a very simple position to play.
If you can get after the quarterback,
by the
that's
big
the
man
only
in front
job
of you, some way, some shape, some form, and hit the quarterback.
I think the Lawrence deal will get done. If you go back, there's kind of a
14 and a half sacks last
year. There's kind of a precedent for these things to get done. Last year, the 3 edge rushers that did get franchised, they all got deals done. It was Pierre-Paul, Melvin Ingram was one.
Yep.
So I do think that you're right. I do think the deal is going to get done. Hopefully sometime this summer, and this isn't something that stretches into the season.
And we're talking like 17-ish million here, right? Not 30.
No, it's not 30. So the deal will get done. The biggest question I think right now with the Cowboys is, what are they going to do with Dez Bryant? Can they keep Dez Bryant mentally engaged?
I say they trade him while they can get something for him. That's me.
Yeah. I don't know.
I saw the Panthers make that mistake with Steve Smith. They ended up sending him to the Ravens for basically nothing, where he was a better player. Yeah. They won nothing in the 2 or 3 years they hung on to him.
Well, we're going to keep Dez. We're going to get DeMarcus Lawrence paid. Zeke's going to stay out of trouble.
Really?
Yes. Yes. I guarantee
a man with a head that size cannot stay out of trouble.
You heard it here first on March 7th. You will not hear about an Ezekiel Elliott issue all season long. Squeaky clean.
You are out of your mind.
No.
You are out of your mind.
No, when Dez came through, they gave.
I'm not saying it'll be
Dez
fair
rules.
Coverage, but I mean, something's going to happen.
No. When Dez came through, they had the Dez rules where they basically had guys living with him and shadowing his every moment. They said they weren't going to do that with Elliott. They basically said, look, Elliott's a big boy. It's time for him to grow up and make the right choices. I think Elliott's going to make the right choices. I think he's going to get in with some mentorship from someone like Michael Irvin. And it's not going to be a problem.
He's going to teach him how to.
He's going to teach him how to live
get
right.
away with it.
Yeah, look,
Michael Irvin only got caught once. That was a big time.
Look, I don't care if you get away with it. Just don't get caught. Just stop, man. Just be cool. Just be cool, man. Run the football. Use your giant head and run through people.
Use your giant head and your strange
No, in all seriousness,
midriff.
Zeke will be fine. No troubles. One place where there seems to be some troubles, I'm not really sure what the deal is.
Well, look, man, there were troubles before this happened.
The Steelers, they tagged Le'Veon Bell, 14.5 or whatever it is.
And he had already said, don't do it.
He told him don't do it.
I will retire.
Is he retiring?
Look, they will owe him 120% of his 2017 salary. He was already in the top 2 paid running backs in the league. The way the salary cap works is the first year you pay the franchisee if they're a restricted, like they can't they can't negotiate full salary cap I'm sorry, I keep saying salary cap. Franchise player. You pay them the average of the top 5 salaries at their position.
Yeah.
But when you keep signing them, that salary increases. Now, Le'Veon Bell is worth whatever you can afford to pay him. Don't get me wrong, but this just adds to an already growing perception that something is wrong in the locker room in Pittsburgh. And you look at a guy like Roethlisberger, and I think both of us agree, unless the Steelers pull an Indianapolis Colts and just get lucky. When Big Ben goes, man, that franchise is going to fall off a cliff for a few years, just like the Pats are when Brady leaves. And if I'm Roethlisberger and I'm sitting at home right now and all this is going on, man, if Le'Veon Bell retires, I'm not sure I come back. I know the.
Just leave me alone, man. I just want to go home.
I know the millions of southern Pittsburgh Steeler fans that don't know where Pittsburgh is in Pennsylvania. Yes, I said it's in Pennsylvania. I know that's new to some of you. They don't, that's not what they want to hear. But man, Roethlisberger's not only in his mid-30s. He's a big heavy in his mid-30s. Man, he's walking hard on those knees. Okay. I know I keep making this about Big Ben, but he's come close to retiring.
Well,
and you wonder what
he'll retire. He will retire before Bell does. I'm calling Bell's bluff.
No, I agree with you there. That's a bunch of junk.
He's not retiring.
That's a bunch of junk. But does the drama impact the team? This is a team. This is not new to them.
I think the drama
when we brought this stuff up with
him
New
has
England,
already impacted the team.
Oh yeah, but when we brought this stuff up with the Patriots the week before the Super Bowl, this was. Man, in 20 years, you've never talked about this with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, man, the past 2 seasons, it's been nonstop.
I think we've already seen it impact the team, but I'm gonna go a different way on this. I think they absolutely made the right decision here because they are gonna run him into the ground. They're gonna give him another 400 touches. He'll be when this franchise tag deal is up. He'll be 27. He's got a lot of wear on the tread, man. He's been rode hard.
27-year-old running back is like a 35-year-old quarterback.
I mean, you're starting on that. You're starting on the back nine, whereas a 27-year-old running back, they're going to run him into the ground. They're going to pay him year to year for another year, and then they're going to let somebody else foot the bill for the back half of his career. They're going to get the best out of Le'Veon Bell if he, I'd say if he's willing to give it, but if he doesn't give it, then that's going to hurt his earning power on the market next year. So I think he's going to take his 400 touches. He'll hold out through training camp. You cross your fingers and hope that he can stay off the weed long enough to pass the drug test and not get suspended.
Well, that's about half their skill positions. There's a whole big thing going on there.
Martavis and Le'Veon Bell and can't put down the ganja, I guess.
It's not Martavis' fault, though. I don't know. A lot of people don't realize that Clemson University actually invented synthetic marijuana.
They probably did.
No, they did.
Probably did.
Why can't you just say yes?
Because
I trust you, BG.
Well, because
if anybody has an unbiased view of Clemson University, it's me.
I haven't verified that, and so I don't want to attach my name to your bombs that you're throwing over here.
But you're willing to entertain the flat Earth theory.
Well, I mean,
and you think Michael Bennett lit an American flag on
I know that happened. I saw the picture.
Okay.
I know that happened. No, that happened.
I can see the chaos in your eyes, my friend.
Chaos, man. Ain't nothing but clear thinking up here.
Let's talk about the Palmetto series
the
in baseball.
The Reedy River rivalry.
Why? Stop doing that.
It's on my ticket on the board, man.
Because the game was
there.
The
Reedy River. It's what it's called,
No,
man.
it's not.
Anyway,
it's a neutral site game that Fluorfield bid for. The contract was up this year. There's a bidding war going on right now. My bet is that it goes to Myrtle Beach. That's my bet. What do you think?
How you gonna get? I think Greenville makes sense because
Greenville makes sense.
You can start in either one, and you'll pass through Greenville. You could pass through Greenville going to the other one.
And you and I talked about this too. I also have this other crazy idea. How about we play 3 games in Columbia, And then we played 3 games at Clemson.
That's the way.
And
it
then we
used to
played
be, right?
3 games in Columbia. And I know that's crazy.
Well, just play 2 and 2. Just play 2. Just play.
I wish we played them 6 times a year.
Yeah.
I'd
you
like
used
to play.
To, right?
Yeah,
I'm not crazy.
Yeah,
you guys
I think
used
it
to
was
happen.
but I think it was 2 and 2. I think when we did it before, it was 2 and 2. I could be wrong.
Yeah, 6. 3 and 3 seems a little much. I'd be fine with 2 and 2. But you guys dropped a couple. You won the first one. What was
Same
it?
exact.
3 to 2.
In the bottom of the ninth, walk-off hit.
Yep, you come back.
Get blasted
on Saturday in Greenville. Get trounced 5-1. Getting trounced for a good little while on Sunday, and you guys came back, made it a ball game for a bit.
Was tied.
Did they get all the way back tied up?
Yep. It was tied in the bottom of the ninth.
And you guys came back and made a ball game of it. So what's your overall thought? Because like I said, you lose 2 out of 3. On paper, it was much closer than that. So what's your thought of the series overall? How you guys look? You're a big baseball man.
I think that this is about what I expected. If we go back and listen to last week's show, I'm almost sure that I said Clemson would win it 2 games to 1. That they would win the Sunday game to win the series, and that shouldn't surprise anybody. Monty Lee has a talented. There's one spot in the lineup where Clemson has 5 straight seniors batting in the heart of their lineup. South Carolina is starting out of their 4 pitchers per week. 2 of them are true freshmen. I mean, and I sent you this email. I'm going to read my response that I posted on a message board this week. It was just a thread about how Clemson's killing us and everything. And the first thing I would say is Clemson's killing us in the 3 sports people pay attention to. We're beating them across the board and everything else. Now, if you don't care about that, that's fine. But there it is. We're up 3 games in head-to-head competition on them this year. But as far as, and I had a response for basketball, baseball, and football, but here's my take on baseball. Mark Kingston inherited a mess. Now, it's not a lack of talent, but it was a lack of culture. You can call that an excuse if you want to, but it's true. The team has looked young this season because they are, but they have fight. Now, I don't think anybody was actually surprised that a senior-laden Clemson team won the series this weekend. I don't know if Mark Kingston's the answer or not, Tan Man, but I think we need to give him longer than 3 weeks.
I think it's a little unfair for anyone to try and jump on the fire Mark Kingston. I mean, it's entirely
No, I don't
early.
think anybody is saying that. I just was, what it is, it's like I told you, man, all these things are interconnected. And losing to them in basketball this year, I think everybody thought we were going to lose to them in football. But losing to them in basketball leaves a sour taste in their mouth. Last year's basketball game still kills me because we set Thornwell and lost to him by a point. You can tell me Sindarius Thornwell wasn't
I'm sure
worth
he
a point.
would have been worth a point.
All right. But baseball, obviously, is something we've had success in. And for a while, just like in football, during that same exact period of time, it just seemed like Carolina baseball had Clemson's number.
Yeah.
They couldn't win. And now, I don't think it feels so much like they have our number. It feels like they have a better team. I mean, I think Monty Lee has a team that could go to Omaha.
I would agree with that. I mean,
I think Seth Beer might be the best player in the country.
Yeah, I would agree with you that they've probably got a better team. But yeah, I hear what you're saying about Kingston giving him more time. But on the other hand, you're sitting here, you're 7-5. You've lost to VMI and you've lost to Furman and Charleston Southern. I mean, these aren't teams that you should be losing to, right?
Yeah,
you're
right.
On the other hand, don't you think some of these people, have a little bit of an argument? Don't they have?
Well, I'll just say those people had the same arguments
bit?
about Ray Tanner in 2010 when he won a national title. We lost to Furman and Charleston Southern that year in midweek Wednesday night games. Now,
all right, were you 7-5 that year?
No.
Okay, that's my point. Yeah, we 2.5, 3 weeks into the baseball season, and your record is saying that you're just kind of
What did I tell you about North Carolina last week? We started the baseball segment. You wanted to know. I don't know what's going on, BG. What's going on with my baseball team? And what did I tell you? I said, wait a week.
Yeah.
And what happened?
Well, they swept Liberty.
Well, you swept Liberty, but that's the kind of team you're talking about us losing to. I'm telling you, this team, we started a true freshman this weekend. We're starting a true freshman at 7 o'clock tonight. These are 18-year-olds. He doesn't want to start freshmen. But the most telling thing to me was L.T. Tolbert came out after the Clemson game and said if that had been last year's staff, he didn't use Holbrook's name, but he may as well have. He said that game would have gotten out of hand. We'd have lost 12-0.
Well, that brings me to what else I was going to ask you. What do you see watching this team? What is it that you see that Kingston's made the biggest difference in, and how are they different now under this regime as opposed to last year with Holbrook? Because I know no one was real happy with Holbrook even starting the year.
Well, if we had been doing the show this time last year, this tone would have been very different because I would have told you that. And I'll still say this. South Carolina should have swept Clemson last year. Chad Holbrook made inexplicable decision after inexplicable decision that cost us games. Just flat out. Mm-hmm. And pitching to Seth Beer with the bases loaded up by 3 runs. I mean, you walk the run in, man. Just walk the run in.
Stop it.
Actually, I think no. I'm wrong. Third base was open.
Then there's no excuse.
Right.
Then there's no excuse.
With 2 outs. Anyway, that kind of thing. I think that Kingston's got these guys here. I think they're playing with a lot of heart. I think that Sunday's game showed that. And let's be honest. I mean, we're look. It's a game of inches. We're 1 base hit away. There was the wind was whipping in and out, even on Saturday. Mm-hmm. South Carolina missed a 3-run homer in the second inning by a few inches. The next inning, the wind turns around, starts blowing back out. Clemson hits a 3-run homer. I mean, those things happen.
So you're saying God's a Clemson fan?
No, I'm saying the local weatherman is a Clemson fan. Oh. Yes, exactly. So here's what I'm saying. Ask me in a month.
Well,
Ask me in a month. Baseball is a long season.
Well, look, we're looking at the schedule coming up. All right, you got North Carolina A&T tonight. 3 games with Princeton, which I'm not sure that they had a baseball team, and then Harvard.
Well, the thing about baseball is sort of like basketball. You never know what kind of team these guys have. Some of these guys have pretty legitimate baseball teams.
You shouldn't be losing to Princeton and Harvard, man. So you get the Ivy League challenge up, so you should get to pad some wins, feel good about yourself before you open up down in Gainesville and SEC play here in a couple weeks.
And that'll let you know everything.
You're going to find out. Right, you're going to find out exactly where you're at when you go down there. Or excuse me, those games are in Columbia. I was wrong.
But, and that right there,
playing Florida is going to tell you what you need to know. Where do you see that? I don't want to say they're doing a worse job, but what is it about the job Kingston is doing down there, where they're at, where you think they could do a little better, or that you'd like to see maybe done a little differently? Anything you're not really pleased with, or are you perfectly fine with the way things are going right now?
I don't see much that I can call into question right now. He's been a little bit quick to juggle the batting lineups,
yeah,
but at the same time, the thing that drove me crazy about Holbrook was just the inability to change anything ever. So,
well, now's the time of year to play with lineups.
Yeah,
that way when you hit the meat of conference play, you've got a lineup in there that you're comfortable with. In my opinion,
I'll be honest with you. I mean, I think we lost the game in Greenville Saturday night because our team was young, and I think that the place was too big for them. I think they seemed psyched out to me. The pitcher didn't look zoned in.
Yeah.
This is the kind of year if we can host a regional, it would be a big year for South Carolina. Clemson, on the other hand, if they're not,
they look strong, man.
If they're not, well, they look tough. They do every year at this time of year. Clemson is a team that has historically struggled down the stretch, so we'll see if that plays out like it typically does. I'll say this though: if Clemson wants to make a push in Omaha, they need to do it this year, because they're going to be looking at a South Carolina type basketball situation next year. They're going to lose a lot.
Yeah.
Now, they're going to have talent. Don't get me wrong. They're going to have talent. Monty's recruited well, but they're not going to have that senior leadership. They've got a murderer's row of a batting lineup right now.
When Seth, I imagine Seth is probably going to be getting paid time next year.
He's gone.
All right. BG, you ready to make some picks, man?
Yes, let's return to the round ball.
Turn to the round ball. Last week, we both go 8-2, so we're finally starting to get the hang of this thing a little bit.
I'm going to blow that up this week because I'm going out on a limb all over the place here.
I love it. First up on the picks list, college basketball. It's conference tournament weekend. That's where we're going to start. BG, give me a pick in the American Conference for a conference champion.
Give me the Shockers.
Shockers, huh?
Yeah, they're going to shock the world.
Shocker. I'm going to take Wichita State, too. I like Cincinnati, but Mick Cronin's teams have, it seems like every year they get to March, I want to pick them to win a game or two, and it just seems like they let me down. They just played Wichita State Sunday afternoon in a great one Sunday afternoon. They lost. Wichita State lost at the buzzer, so I think they get another crack at Cincinnati, get to win the championship game. On to the Big East. Give me the team that I've been championing all year. Give me the Villanova Wildcats. They haven't really done well in this tournament in the past, but I think this is a year for Jay Wright and his bunch.
I think that Nova is probably looking a little past this. I don't even think that they would deny it in public. I think Villanova's got their sights set on bigger things. I'm going to go with Seton Hall. I think they're an underrated, dangerous team that plays good fundamental basketball.
They're a tough one,
I'm going to take Seton Hall.
They're a tough one. I've been on the Pirates all year early on, too. Big 12, the land of the Jayhawks, BG. They haven't won this thing in a few years. Where are you going?
Rock chalk.
Going with the Jayhawks. I'm going to go West Virginia. The Mountaineers, every time I want to pick them and every time I want to wrap my arms and love some Mountaineer basketball, they go out in there and they lay an egg and they leave me hanging. I can't quit them, man. They've lost 2 straight conference title games.
West Virginia
Huggins finally gets it done this year.
West Virginia is one of those teams one of those schools rather that I in a different life I could have been a big West Virginia fan. I love their colors. I love their mascot. I love their logo. I love Dana Holgerson's mullet. But
I love Huggy Bear. They're like a bad relationship. I just can't quit them, man. I don't know why.
Well, there's something very intimate about that full court press. You know what I mean? It just comes right at you.
In the SEC, the land of the Gamecocks, I am not pulling the trigger on the Gamecocks. I'm going Tennessee. I think Tennessee they tied for first in the league with Auburn. They're the 2 seed. All year long, my opinion, I think Tennessee from start to finish has been the best team in the conference.
You're right.
They got the player of the year. Give me Tennessee.
Yeah, I think you're right, and you're probably right about your pick. I'm going to go out on a little bit of limb. I've been sort of hinting at my thoughts on this for a few weeks now. I'm going to go with Big Blue on this one. I think Kentucky can put it together for 3 or 4 games and win the tournament.
And finally, in the ACC, the land of champions. It's not the Conference of Champions. It's not the Pac-12 like Bill Walton calls it. The Conference of Champions is the ACC, BG. Where are you going?
I'm going to go with the Blue Devils. I sure am. Going to go with the Blue Devils. I'm just not buying it. Maybe I'm wrong. It happened once back in 1984. It's bound to happen again sometime.
Yeah.
Who are you taking, Tan Man?
I'm going to go with Virginia.
Okay.
I'm going to take Virginia, but I'm going to take Virginia to beat the Tar Heels. I think the Tar Heels, I think they get Duke again on Friday night. They've got an extra game, so that concerns me a little bit. We having to play on Wednesday.
Sure.
But I think they get Duke. I think they get the rematch with Virginia. That's just such a tough matchup, man.
Oh.
There's just such a tough matchup. They do such a good job on defense of getting you out of what you want to do. And I just, after what I saw last Saturday night, it seemed like we could be really vulnerable in that type of situation.
Right.
It really wasn't close the first time we played them up in Charlottesville early. So I think Virginia wins the ACC in a tight one over North Carolina. So, on to the NBA. First one on the list. The Jazz at the Pacers Wednesday night. The Pacers are rolling, man. The Pacers are rolling. Give me the Pacers.
You can make the argument that right now the Pacers are playing the best basketball of anybody in the NBA. Yeah. They've been hot for a month and a half now.
The Pacers 22-11 at home. They're only a half a game behind the Cavs for third in the East, and which would, of course, give them the division lead, too. They're in the same division.
Right.
So the
whatever
Pacers
that means.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
but the Pacers are nipping at the heels. The
Cavs.
Cavs, speaking of the Cavs, going to Denver on Wednesday night, BG. Give me the Nuggets, man. Give me the Nuggets. They're 24-9 at home. The Cavs, just a 15-15, 500 record on the road. Something still ain't quite right up in Cleveland, man. I can't put my finger on it.
I did not know the Nuggets had that sort of home record. I actually wasn't aware they had won a game this year. But I tell you, they may be between them and the Kings of all three major sports. I'm not sure which of those two I would say is the least exciting franchise in professional sports. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Cavaliers. They have lost 9 times. You know how this works, man. In the NBA, people just win games sometimes.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah. Next up on the list, speaking of teams that just win, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. This one ain't lost a lot lately. The Rockets at the Raptors on Friday night.
Tough place to go play. They're a really underrated arena.
Man, one in the West, one in the East, matching up. Give me the Rockets, man. Give me the Rockets going to Toronto. I just have a hard time picking anybody beating Houston right now. I mean, I was before the season started. I thought, man, has Harden and Paul, and there's one basketball, blah, blah. I was one of those dummies.
Right.
Man, I was way wrong. This team is awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Rockets, too. I think this is a close game, though.
I think it's a tight one. The Raptors are probably the most underrated team.
I mean, 2 to 4 points.
Yeah. Wizards at the Pelicans on Friday night. New Orleans, 9-1 in their last 10. They've won 9 in a row, BG. Are they going to keep it going? As of now, they've won 9 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, the Wizards... let down team of the year. I'll take the Pelicans.
I agree with you. Give me the Pelicans in that one. And finally, the race to the bottom for one.
Clash of the Titans.
Clash of the Titans. Phoenix at Charlotte on Saturday evening. One of those weird 5 o'clock tip-offs. The Suns are very clearly in tank mode on a race to the bottom. The Hornets can now officially probably close the door. I think I saw where they called up Marcus Page from Greensboro. They could probably see Malik Monk get some more minutes.
Which
Hornets,
he should have been getting since the beginning of the season.
Yeah, should have been getting all year, but definitely within the last few weeks. I think chasing a playoff spot was a pipe dream a month and a half ago. With that said, at home, the Suns really stink. Give me the Hornets, man.
Between the Suns and the Hawks.
Yeah.
That was the argument we had back in the fall. Who would be the worst team in basketball? I think I took the Hawks. You took the Suns.
Yeah.
I think we're both right.
Give me the lesser of two evils. I'll take the Hornets at home.
All right. That is going to wrap up this week's show. Remember to follow us on Twitter at The Border War. You can follow me at BG_Border War, and Tan Man at Border War. Tan Man 3264. The number of messages I've gotten just during the show, Tan Man, astounding. People asking, what is this thing? I mean, these are people that should have known.
Listen to the show.
Spreaker app.
Spreaker, YouTube, SoundCloud.
We are
Facebook,
all over
we are
the place.
everywhere.
And again, for $10, we will come and do a reenactment of our show, although somewhat abbreviated, probably 30 to 40 seconds long.
Yeah.
In your house. $10, and I guess they should probably feed us, right?
I expect to be fed whenever I walk into a room.
Yeah, I mean that's just considered,
in whatever walk of life I'm in.
That's just considered polite.
Let us know if you guys would prefer to hear a live show. We're kicking around some things.
I'm trying to talk Tan Man into getting a video camera involved, but he does not think he's attractive enough.
I know I'm attractive enough. I'm just concerned about the level of folks that we would be attracting.
Well, people following you around on the street. Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that.
Let us know what you guys think. We want to give you some say-so in that, too. So, hit us up, man. BG, have you got anything else?
Go Redskins.
Yeah, well, I guess that's one way to put it.
I love the Redskins, man. Great uniforms.
Great. Only when you wear the white pants. When you wear the yellow pants, they're trash.
I think the white tops and the burgundy pants. That's the
good.
look I like.
That's good.
That's the look I like.